Today our story begins with showing an incredibly beautiful city, currently the place of residence of our main character. Of course, it is different from the rest of Korea, and you will probably ask where he knows this. Now he will tell us everything. Here is this young couple. The child asks his father to hurry up to go to the next one. That same story happened when the main character was only 10 years old. He so wanted to ride a dragon, and therefore asked his father to hurry up. Only in the next frame we are already shown a picture where he is holding his father's hand, and everything around was red. This is the most tragic day in his life. God, just look at the guy's face. It looks like a tragedy has happened, and I'm dying of laughter right now. How could the author even draw something like that? He tried to call his father, but everything around him was on fire, and his daddy definitely wouldn't come to his aid. Instead, some kind of huge dragon appeared. Apparently it was the main character who was going to ride on it. The monster also grabbed his mother. Everyone who was nearby tried to run as far away from this place as possible, shouting that the monster was already free. Damn it, how could anyone fight against such a monster? Mom found herself in the clutches of a terrible monster and screamed for her son named Taeyeon to just run away and not even think about her. Well, that's how that same fun day ended. Instead of going on a swing, both of his parents were eaten by a dragon. Clearly no one expected such a plot turn. While he watched his mother being eaten by a monster, the boy managed to remember everything that happened in his past life. This will be a story about an orphan who decided to become a monster hunter in order to avenge his parents. But the strangeness doesn't end there, because this is far from the most ordinary world where there were terrible monsters. No matter how strange it may be, in this world there are absolutely no familiar concepts. Even girls consider everything completely normal that in our world would be simply terrible. Here it seems that our boy found himself in a trap. The girl warned that if he doesn't want to be hurt, then it's better for him not to move. The news there constantly talked about strange girls who constantly hunt guys and play football with them, but in the opinion of these ladies, they should only be glad that such beautiful ladies play football. Damn it, there really is news in this world that reports that cases of playing football have become much more numerous. This could only mean one thing. In this world, everything was completely the opposite. Stereotypes had changed, and now matriarchy reigned here. There was even a difference in abilities. The girls' hunters were simply incredible, but the men were like real trash. Even if a man suddenly gains strength here, they receive a maximum of rank D. After which the action decided to move to Daehan High School. It was there that our boy studied with all the girls, a real lucky guy, a whole class of beautiful girls. Despite all the difficulties, our boy still entered the high school for hunters, and even the girls in the hallway said that he looked too cute today. Damn it, they turn out to be too strange and measure their beauty with the help of the main character by asking which of them is more beautiful today. Of course, the boy turns out to be a real lucky guy and becomes the only student who was a guy. And damn, it was because of this that he received the attention of all the girls at this university. They even specifically waited for him in the corridor to take pictures. But apparently, everything turns out to be not as simple as it might have seemed to them, and they were eventually caught. Some girl appears and asks what the hell they are doing here. At that same second, all the girls just started screaming in fear. The girl who scared them was called Hyeon, and they had to run away urgently, but they practically managed to take the photo from Taeyong. They didn't understand why the hell she was bothering them, because the main character was even her boyfriend, but she made a too harsh statement, saying that from that day on they would be dating, so they better leave him, or she will send them to the next world. In response to such a loud cry, our boy finally came out, and the lady began to behave much less confidently when she saw him. The lady approached him and once again warned him to be careful, but the main character did not understand why the hell she was so worried about him, because she was not his mother. In response, the girl got even more angry and asked him to tell him if they suddenly start doing something strange again, and then she would immediately sort everything out. Realizing that he won't be able to get out of this situation in any other way, the main character says that the girls don't bother him at all, and said thank you to Hayoung for worrying about him so much. Of course, she will help him in all, even the smallest problems, because now they have started dating. And now the boy decides to tell us a little about her. Hayoung was the only girl who managed to remain his friend since childhood, and among all the students who were able to awaken their superpowers, she was the strongest. But the main character was completely sure that the girl simply could not help him forever, and would have to cope on his own. He never wanted to receive her help only out of pity, and the only reason he came here was to gain his own strength. It's just that the main character was completely confident that training and studying at a cool university would help him awaken his own abilities, and then he would no longer need her protection. As soon as he can gain his own powers, only then can he become a real hunter, after which we are shown how the sunset has already come. A room with a lot of dirty dishes and a bowl of noodles that still hadn't been cleaned. And our main character, who is pondering the meaning of life. 2 years ago, he graduated from this school, and now he is already 22 years old, but his superpowers have not yet awakened. He simply cursed all the hunters who existed and thought what kind of life he had that brought absolutely no joy. Why did he try all this time just to get into university? If he couldn't even awaken superpowers, he spent all the money that his parents left him when suddenly he received a message on his phone. What the hell did the main character think? Because usually no one writes to him because he had no friends. Although there was still that lady named Kang Ha-yeon, he didn't think that she would write to him. Maybe this was the most common spam. Although judging by his surprised face, it is immediately clear that he was too surprised by the message that came to him. Damn it, it's simply impossible to believe because he received congratulations that he managed to become a real hunter for girls. But he himself couldn't understand why the hell he was receiving such messages. Of course, everything was too strange for him, and the main character thought that most likely this was some new type of fraud that they decided to try on him. He simply could not believe that he was finally able to get his abilities, especially considering that they simply did not appear for so long. The boy could not get his superpowers even after training hard, but now he got them just lying on the bed. Although he even felt the difference, he so wanted to quickly find out what kind of ability he would receive. What the hell did they just write to him in this application? It seems that he was supposed to become a manager of a football game specifically for hunter girls. The main character has exactly the same question as all the viewers. What the hell could this even mean, because it all makes no sense at all? But since he already has abilities, he still needs to see what it is, so the boy immediately clicks on the link, because it's not in vain that he tried so hard to get his powers. It's just that too many conditions immediately appear on his screen in order to awaken his abilities. No matter how much the girls want to fight, they always want to start a family. Of course, the main character immediately has a picture in his head of how a girl fights against a terrible dragon, and he tries to understand what these rules mean. No matter how the girls fight on the battlefield, they always want to start dating guys and create a normal family. Even in a world where everything was completely the opposite, love still continued to exist. Meanwhile, the girl was asked a huge number of questions about the guy with whom she was seen, but until recently she was sure that they only had friendly relations, while in her thoughts, she cursed him. No matter how strange it was, the girls couldn't even go to the club normally with the guys because their status was too high. He was completely sure that it was simply impossible to live normally in a world where girls don't date boys. And how do they play football? You have to play completely alone. It is simply impossible for a girl to constantly train alone while playing football, because it was simply terrible. Meanwhile, the main character was informed that he would receive special rewards every time he played football with girls who were football hunters. On the next page, there was a too-long description of his tasks and awards. In short, now he had to become a real coach for girls who want to play football. But it turns out to be just an incredibly difficult task. How is it possible to play football with so many girls? Because the rewards for the game were too cool. This strange plot twist had a strange effect on the boy. Rewards were cool, of course, but he simply had no idea how to complete the tasks. In order to gain his abilities, he was constantly bullied by his friends, but he can't give up right now. A set of abilities opens before him, and a store that is still closed to him, and most importantly, he now has access to search for hunters. It seemed too strange to him because many functions in the application were still blocked, but he still needed to pay attention to everything else. At the moment, he has only 3 abilities: sword technique, fire magic, and healing magic. All other powers are not yet available to him. The system also notified him that he could spend his awakening points to gain new abilities. So now the boy decided to think about it. Because he only had 3 abilities, he needed to earn more points in order to unlock the rest of his powers. All you had to do was just find more hunters on your navigator, and then something should change. Our hero actually had a great job playing football with girls and getting paid for it. Of course, he immediately presses the button to quickly find the huntress. Damn it, there are too many people on the map who want to play football right now. It's simply incredible. And what should he do now? The system warned him that he could receive either additional points or absolutely nothing as a reward, so the boy decides to come up with a completely different plan. If suddenly he manages to play football 20 times with this girl, then he will get 20 extra points, but he needs 100. If suddenly she really wants so much to be played football with her so often, then she will need at least 5 opponents, but this was too much in his opinion. Now he feels real despair because he tried so hard to become a hunter, and in the end he got just a terrible ability. But no matter how hard he tried to change his fate, he still had no other option, even though the ability was simply terrible. But he couldn't just give up without even trying. The closest huntress paid 35 points for a game of football, and he even begins to wonder whether he should go to her. But while he was going down the stairs and looking for other hunters, something surprising appeared on his map. Some girl paid as much as 80 points to play football with her, and it seems that she was getting closer. While we were shown for a second that girl who seemed to be going to meet him, meanwhile he wondered if others could even see him when he logs into the application. He began to deny this, saying that most likely the girl was just walking by and accidentally was next to him, but she passed right next to his house. When suddenly a girl comes into the apartment and asks if Taeyong is here, it seems that this is the same lady who was with him at the university. It seems that this is the same friend who was from university, and the main character simply cannot believe that she came to him. Somehow it was all too strange because she expected him to just lie on his bed like a real lazy person. Damn it, why the hell did this particular lady cost him exactly 80 points, Kang Ha-yeon? The application showed that she was the very huntress he needed. If suddenly he wants to improve his abilities, then he will definitely have to play football with her. Why the hell was the highest reward for his girlfriend? The lady simply offered him to cook something to eat if he was hungry. Of course, in order to be a normal guest, she needed a special suit that she always had with her. How cool! Now the main character was definitely sure that he wouldn't be able to drive her home so easily. He needed to come up with another plan to somehow get out of this situation. After which all the plates were already completely empty, and the girl ate much more than the main character, while drinking juice in the most convenient way. She ate incredibly deliciously, and was well aware that he had a real talent for cooking. The boy simply said thank you for praising him. Since he fed her so well, she was going to repay him and wash the dishes after dinner. He has to pretend to be a fool who understands nothing at all and thinks that it was so nice of her. The girl was his neighbor's daughter and constantly came to him to help with all the household chores as if he were a small child. But for now, she was just bragging about the fact that she was good at washing dishes. At the same time, she was his only friend. Damn it. He can't just start talking about playing football like his application said, because he's not crazy. He just thinks for a second what will happen if he suddenly turns on real Sigma mode, but she was sure that they were just friends and couldn't play football. Even in his thoughts, the girl refused to play football with him, but as soon as they started the match, she thought that he was simply an incredible football player. Gradually, the main character began to feel as if he was simply going crazy and needed to come up with a cunning plan. Maybe he could just make a surprise attack, but still he begins to deny everything, even though it was a world in which everything was the other way around. But he can't just start a football match, especially since the girl was much stronger than him. Moreover, the application gave him several conditions for completing the task, because he had to play football for her to like the match, so he had to come up with another plan. Now all he could do was sit and think about how to start a conversation about how to play a football match, because he could earn as many as 80 points. If suddenly a girl had such an incredibly high award, then most likely she really wants to play football. Although in his opinion it was completely natural because she had long awakened her superhero powers. Now the main character was only thinking about the fact that the girl suffered too much while she was a hero and could not even find time to rest properly. After which a simply incredible plan comes into his head. The actions move into the past to the moment when they returned home together. They were walking so calmly when suddenly she decided to ask Taeyong if it pisses him off when a girl talks about soccer balls. He only agreed in response because everyone was constantly discussing football, and the girls were trying to pretend that they also understood. It seems that on the contrary, he liked it when they got involved in the conversation. But her reaction to such a statement was too strange. She simply made some strange sound as if she was laughing. After all, she was one of those girls who actually discussed football matches and footballs. Now it's clear why she decided to find out the boy's opinion. She was so interested in the boy's opinion, whether she had become a better football player, damn it. How could she even ask such unexpected questions in the middle of a conversation? He definitely did not expect such a question, and began to talk about how such topics were usually not discussed in ordinary Korean families. Finally, she managed to ask exactly the kind of question that would make the boy feel awkward. What was this idiot even thinking about? She was talking about height, and not about football. How could the main character even think about such a thing? The lady continued to laugh at him, saying that she already knew that he didn't like football, but the main character confirmed her words. But the lady said that she was feeling completely sad because she wouldn't mind playing football with him. After which the friend decided that it would be just a great idea to have a pajama party because they hadn't visited each other for so long, because they could get together and watch a movie together. Well, if you think about it, what is happening now is exactly what the girl had in mind from the very beginning. As if he still loves football and decides that it would be a great idea to practice on a soccer ball. Wait, why the hell did the football match start so unexpectedly? Because she didn't expect it at all when she just went to wash the dishes. She just decided to ask the main character what the hell he was doing. It seems that now is absolutely not the right time to play football. Like a real man, he asked his girlfriend for forgiveness, saying that he was just interested in understanding what it was like to play football against a real master. But this turns out to be even more strange for her because the main character told her that he simply hated football and everything connected with it. At this point, he finally decides to admit that he was simply ashamed to tell her about it, but he really loves football. After all, those girls who play football professionally were simply incredible, and our friend turns out to be exactly one of them. She can't believe it right away, but looking at his face, she understands that he is speaking in all seriousness. This damn idiot really decided to play football with her, and it seems she is an opponent. If so, she gives permission to continue their football match, and the main character simply said, "Thank you for this opportunity." It was simply incredible because the girl turned out to be a real master of the game and managed soccer balls so well. It was very difficult for her to believe his words, because she had been training for too long to become such a pro. Did he really notice it? Damn it! Is the main character really going to play football with her right now? Because she wanted to fulfill her function as a factory woman and go wash the dishes. Although he believed that it would be completely dishonest if suddenly he could just play football with her. But he wanted to play football too much, so the game gradually began, even though the lady didn't want to play football so much. Now Madame was too worried about the fact that she would actually have to play football, because she was completely unprepared for such a turn of events. But the main character has absolutely no intention of stopping the game. On the contrary, he is doing everything possible to win. Coping with so many attacks becomes simply incredibly difficult, and she loses all ground while the boy begins to become a leader. Even the boy himself was simply shocked that she was so happy about her loss. Now he is sure that he can become much bolder and play even better. Damn it. But he really is not going to give in to this lady anymore. Now his attacks have become completely unexpected, just like a real shinobi of Konoha. But in this world, everything was completely the opposite. Here the boys and girls swapped places, and the girl began to want to play football only after the guy started winning. He turns out to be just a real genius of this game, and since Ha-young turns out to be completely okay with playing football, he continues his game. Although no, she still found the strength to tell the main character to stop this game, because if they continue, she will definitely lose to him. Damn it. Now he's definitely finished, although he still decides to use psychology and tells her that she's waited too long to play football, and now her time has come. Damn. It seems that his plan began to work, because the lady really believed in his words. In his plan, everything was completely simple. Even despite the fact that she was a hunter, she was still an ordinary person, which means playing football he wants the same as all living people. In any case, he simply warns his girlfriend that she can play football with him, so let their match last as long as she wants. But Ha-young was looking at him all this time and didn't understand at all what the hell he was saying. She definitely didn't expect such a situation. But the main character simply carried out his plan perfectly. He said that they are real friends and should help each other all the time, so their game of football will be completely ordinary. While the lady stood simply in shock, the boy himself turned to her with a request to make him much stronger. For this, they must play a football match. After all, since childhood they wanted this game, so let this match take place right now. My friend looked at what was happening on the field so strangely. Well, if that's the case, Ha-young's opinion has completely changed, and since this will help for both of them, she will only be happy to play a football match. In the next chapter, we are already shown this incredible preparation that a lady must go through before playing a real match. In her opinion, the training had already dragged on too long, and she wanted to start playing real football as soon as possible. But in his opinion, there was absolutely no need to rush here, because without proper preparation, it would be completely uninteresting to play. Although this was not the case at all, it was just that the girl herself was uncomfortable with the fact that they had been training for so long. Instantly, the boy realized that she was deceiving him and was proving that the point here was not at all about the training. The whole point was that she simply liked the moment of training, which is why he wanted to continue training. Damn, he turns out to be just an excellent manipulator and immediately saw through her strange plan. Now he can simply take control of the situation. But he knew very well that it would be very difficult to defeat the girl. The whole point is that this is a world in reverse, and in it girls were much stronger than guys. At this rate, he would become not a hunter, but the most ordinary animal being hunted. That is why the main character decided to arrange such a cool training session. While the girl herself had already spent all her strength, he could still continue the game, so he could easily get his 80 points. Damn it, he completely forgot that his room was a complete mess. Apparently, he was so fixated on his goal that he completely forgot about cleaning. There was nothing to be done. Before the football match started, there had to be cleaning done, so she would have to wait for a while. Apparently, it didn't matter to her that his room was too untidy, because she wanted to play football much more. After all, we all know very well the fact that the girl liked our main character, and before actually starting to play football, she decided to kiss him. At first there was a little surprise, and then he returns to tough guy mode and says that he did not expect that the girl would be so incredibly brave. For a while, he completely forgets that he is entitled to a reward for playing football, but it was even cooler because now he can play football with a beauty and also kiss. To say that she was simply incredible is to say nothing. She knew how to play football no worse than kissing and was going to prove it. She so wanted him to start the match as soon as possible, but the guy took her by the cheek and began to scold her. There was no need to rush so much because they still had too much time. Let her better relax and rest before the really crushing football match begins. So far, this has been the most ordinary training. God, just look at this pumped up Giga Chad. He warned her that in any case today he would spend the whole day playing football with her. Of course, when she saw such an incredibly handsome guy, she couldn't even say a word normally. But she was definitely thinking about how to start playing football as soon as possible. But the girl noticed something strange, because the main character just stood and looked at her intently. Perhaps he managed to fall in love with her during the training. Lord, why does he have such a serious expression on his face? Why did he even decide to make such a face? It seems that this is his next manipulation to definitely play football with the girl. Of course, the situation turned out to be as strange as possible for her, but she still thought that he was too handsome and sweet. Of course, our Ha-young just decided to joke with the girl by making such a strange face. Damn joker. How can you even joke in such a tense situation? After which he patted her on the head like a little child, and apparently she even liked this gesture. It's not every day that such a cool guy decides to pat you on the head. I would be glad too. The boy himself didn't understand at all what the hell was going on, because he just stroked her on the head. In response, the friend said that she just likes being stroked on the head, while the main character himself was only thinking about the fact that his damn plan worked. Will he really be able to play football with his childhood friend? Although she was absolutely not against holding a football match, and this already means that he can start playing quite calmly. Of course, she was now just terribly scared. Meanwhile, the boy was already preparing for the start of the match. The brilliant plan worked just fine, and now all that was left was to just bring it to the end. He is no longer going to restrain his strength, so let the girl not even hope that he will succumb to her. Damn it. But if you compare it with those matches that she watched on the internet, his playing skills are completely different. While she was just sitting and worrying, the boy remembered that he had already thought about it. Maybe his gaming experience would only be a minus. But in her opinion, everything was completely wrong, because she only liked to have opponents much stronger than herself play against her. God, she doesn't even believe that she managed to say something like that, but you can cut out the part where she said this phrase. Damn it. Even the main character himself was simply shocked when he heard this. He simply told her thank you for such a compliment. How terribly awkward it was. Although Ha-young is going to just ignore it so that he doesn't think she's weird, making excuses was a bad option, so it's better to just continue playing. He gave her a little lesson on what to do next, but she was still worried that something might go wrong. Of course, this was her first football match. It was somehow strange for her to think that they would now actually start playing football, because she always thought that the boy was an ordinary loser, but he turned out to be a pretty cool player. Well, it's okay. If she doesn't take a risk, she'll never be able to know what it's like to play football, and it seems that she really enjoyed playing. The boy himself simply watches everything from the side and is not even going to start playing, but he was afraid that she could defeat him. After all, the girl was a hunter, and they themselves are incredibly strong. Then the game moves to a more serious level, because the main character decides that it's time to join the game. But from the very beginning, he couldn't even think that a girl could really play so cool. Now it will be much more interesting for him to defeat her. In her opinion, these words were simply incredible, and she asked not to say such things again. And she turns out to be a real hypocrite, because despite the fact that she asks not to tell her that, she continues to play football. The girl didn't understand why the main character told her so, because he himself started this game of football. It was quite strange, but most likely it's because hunters in this world simply don't have time to play football. It's time to turn on the courage mode, so that the guy starts playing more seriously. This ends the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and like so that the new part comes out as soon as possible.